right, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, July 18th, 2016, and this is Before the First Cup with Jules here on UCY.TV. Happy Monday everyone. It is 72 degrees and sunny here in upstate New York, and I think we're going to have a couple more nice days like that. So where do we leave off on Friday? We titled the show, Roll Out the Robots, AI, and Our Coming Dystopian Future. And we talked about some pretty crazy stuff last week. We delved in deep into the brain and them merging man with machine, developing these DNA printed synthetic synapses where they can mimic the human brain. We also looked at Ross, the very first hired artificial intelligence to work as a lawyer. Ross is back-ended by IBM Watson, and IBM Watson has been showing up in a lot of places in regards to providing back-end cognitive computing. We saw it in the Under Armour with the smart clothing. We've seen it at the Sloan Kettering Cancer Institute, back-ending for cancer cures and helping doctors solve that case. One of the things that we did look at right at the end of the week, and I kind of wanted to continue here, was this bill that we had found, H.R. 591. Let's see what it was titled. To provide for a coordinated federal research program to ensure that the United States continues its leadership in engineering biology. So, I mean, it's pretty insane. We have all of these White House initiatives, the precision medicine, the brain initiative, right? We've talked about all this stuff. The supercomputing initiative, genomics, Med's gone mad, all kinds of crazy stuff. And we've dug into looking at the connections between the Department of Energy and the release of their synthetic biology report to Congress. Well, wait till you hear this. This is the National Engineering Biology Research and Developmental Program. The President shall implement a national engineering biology research and development program to advance societal well-being, national security, and economic productivity and competitiveness through 1. Advancing areas of research at the intersection of biological, physical, and informational sciences and engineering. Now, informational sciences is, ding, it used to be the title of the degree in his computer technology. Supporting social science research that advances the field of engineering biology and contributes to the adoption of new products, processes, and technologies. Number 3, expanding the number of researchers, educators, and students with engineering biology training. Yes, so little Johnny can get his DIY splice 'em and dice 'em kit for the garage for summer vacation. Number 4, accelerating the translation and commercialization. So let's sell life for a good price. This is just commercialization of engineering biology research and development by the private sector. Now remember, we take federal dollars, we sprinkle them at universities, we spin out some new mad science creation into a private company that goes public and makes bazillions of dollars. And then we have angel investors that are fueling this research along. We have places like DARPA. We have people like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And we have a brave new world that is forming under the covers at a molecular DNA and cellular level that I don't believe, at least in our written history, we've ever seen before. I mean, who knows how many times we've been recreated here over and over again, and we keep destroying ourselves. But I'm telling you, we are getting to the point, and we've already crossed that line of no return. I don't see how we're going to be able to get back 1.0 of nature and biology, but we need to sound the alarm that this is happening. know how we could protect ourselves. I don't know how we could stop them from doing this, but this is an extension of all of the horror that we've read about in the past with the Manhattan Project. I've found a whole bunch of connections that have tied lots of things back to the Manhattan Project. Good old Nazi Germany and bringing over the paperclip scientists. You know, people used to laugh when we play Mae Brussels, and she'd always say it was the Nazis. But, you know, I think she was onto something. Werner von Braun and the whole space program spun right off of the Manhattan Project. A lot of the nuclear technology spun off of the Manhattan Project. A lot of the aerosolized spraying I've been hearing in 2 separate interviews by 2 separate researchers discovered some of the same connections. Also to the RAND Corporation. That was a Tim Kelly interview I heard last week. Very, very interesting connections. And remember, too, Plum Island and the biowarfare program was also a part of paperclip scientists. So this whole continuation now of completely bastardizing biology on this planet and experimenting on their own people under the guise of national security. Did you hear? This is exactly, I'm going to back up here for 1 second. This is how they're selling this. They are selling this program. The president shall implement a national engineering, biology, research, and development program to advance societal well-being. So, yes, let's keep us all healthy. National security. I mean, how can splicing and dicing in a petri dish and creating insanity be in the name of national security and economic productivity and competitiveness? Now remember, that's what Obama said. This is going to be the next big revolution in the economy of the 21st century. That was the Precision Medicine Initiative. Program activities. The activities of this program shall include sustained support for engineering, biology, research, and development through grants to individual investigators and interdisciplinary teams of investigators. Projects funded under joint solicitations by collaboration of no fewer than 2 agencies participating in the program. Interdisciplinary research centers, these are your hospitals and universities that are organized to investigate basic research questions and carry out technology development and demonstration activities, and education and training of undergraduate and graduate students in research, and of course that's using our children to advance mad science in the intersection of biology, physical, and informational sciences, splicing and dicing, putting in a database, and engineering. I want to scroll down. There was a section here about Obama, and I wanted to find that. I had it up here before I went on air, but I'm not sure where it is now. So I might have to sing for a minute. Oh, and the National Science Foundation is involved. I found out the National Science Foundation is also who runs Antarctica and our naval exploration down there, science facilities, international science facilities. Here we go. Let's look at some ethical, legal, and environmental and societal issues. Program activities shall take into account ethical, legal, environmental, and other appropriate societal issues, including the need for safeguards and monitoring systems to protect society against the unintended release, of engineered materials produced by, 1, supporting research, including in the social sciences and other activities addressing ethical, legal, environmental, or other appropriate societal issues related to engineering biology, including integrated research on these topics with research and development in engineering biology, and ensuring the result of such research is widely disseminated, including through interdisciplinary engineering biology research centers. So let's make sure everybody gets in on the game. Ensuring through agencies and departments that participation and public input and outreach are integrated into the program. So let's suck you all in. Cohort program. Get in line for your universal cancer vaccine trials. And The President should also designate an interagency committee on engineering biology, which shall include representatives from the Office of Science and Technology Policy, the National Science Foundation, the Department of Energy, ding, 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 and NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. That, of course, gives them tentacles then into their dark side, which is DARPA. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, that's NIST. That is an overarching global community of standards. That's pretty important. As well as the Environmental Protection Agency, right, so we can let these genetically engineered microbes go into a body of water where we've had an oil spill and see what happens, as well as any other agency that the President considers appropriate. The Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy shall select a chairperson from among the members of the Interagency Committee, and the Interagency Committee shall oversee the planning, management, and coordination of the program. Pretty interesting. So anyway, this bill is sitting in the House. It has not been voted upon and has been in there since January 28th of 2015. But I just want to illustrate to you that this mad science gone mad in a petri dish is not an isolated incident. They are splicing and dicing life from every angle. You know, we've talked about the integration of man and machine, and that really is what this engineering biology is all about. And I had mentioned on Friday the head IT guy for the White House. Well, I looked him up. That head IT guy is Dr. Ed Felton, White House Chief Technology Officer. And he, I think it was in April 1st, 2016, Dr. Ed Felton, White House Deputy Chief Technology Officer, was the keynote speaker at the Internet of Things conference. We've talked much about sucking us into the Internet of Things, us being a node on this global cloud network that's coming. And as time goes on, they're going to be able to integrate more and more of our biology into this Internet of Things, so we can always be live online, we can be monitored, bag tagged, and it's all going to be for your own health, Johnny. Make sure you're healthy and safe at all times, and there is no privacy. Don't worry, we can read your thoughts now. You don't need to censor that little voice in your head, Johnny, because it will be feeding directly to that personal digital assistant that we implanted in your head at birth. That is coming as well. They've been talking about that for a while. I would be interested to see whether or not any of that has already been experimented with in countries such as China, who don't have the same oversight. Not that we really have much oversight in the dark back rooms where we have lots of slippery palms sliding around and butt patting, but I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be too long. They've already talked about integrating, and if we have time, we're going to look at new digital assistants that are coming. Anyway, so this Dr. Ed Felton, Chief Technology Officer for the White House, was a keynote speaker at the Internet of Things conference. And, let's see what it was called. Dr. Ed Felton was our keynote speaker at the ABA section of Science and Technology Law Internet of Things National Symposium in Washington in April. The White House Office of Science and Technology Policy advises the President of the United States and the Executive Office regarding the effects of science and technology on domestic and international affairs. Dr. Felton, the White House Deputy Chief Technology Officer, has had an impressive career focusing on issues at the intersection of public affairs and computer science. Affairs at Princeton, of Science and Public Affairs at Princeton, and he is the founding director of Princeton's Center for Information Technology Policy. He has also served as the first ever chief technologist for the Federal Trade Commission as well. He's provided a fascinating and informative keynote address regarding his work. Many commentators have noted that because of the Internet of Things, We are in the early stages of a new revolution. And remember, I've talked about this, disruptive technologies, and how that's something to pay attention to. And we are now at an intersection of not just 1 or 2 or 3, because typically that's the way it's been over the last 20 or 25 years. Every year you might have had, another little step of the way innovation. But every 10 years or so, you would have a disruptive technology. And as time has gone on, the law of accelerating returns, and we've listened to Ray Kurzweil give some good explanations of that, but as technology begets new technology, we have this law of accelerating returns where the timeline gets shorter and shorter between advances, and we are now at this upward curve on the timeline and the technology line that has made things dizzying. And I think that's why things happen so fast now and why we have a lot of trouble keeping up with the pace at which technology is advancing. It's mind-boggling. And when you talk about this stuff to other people, I don't think they understand that the timeline is not the way it was anymore. The timeline is definitely speeding up in the guise of technological advancement. So this Internet of Things being a disruptive technology, this is not going to change 1 or 2 things at once. This is going to change the entire world as we know it. To 2.0, it's going to upgrade everything that we understand today as the natural biological world and merge us with this matrix that is of an entity that may not be of a benevolent stature's creation. We've helped fuel this monster that is going to be leashed upon us. We've fed it the data to create this synthetic world that is coming. But we are not the creators of this world. We are not building the framework and the security and the having control over the end result of this. And so because of that, we should be afraid, be very afraid. Anyway, back to the story, enough of my rambling. So many commentators have noted that because of the Internet of Things, we're in the early stages of a new revolution where our appliances, smart fridges and TVs, our cars, and wearable computing, we've talked about that many times as well, are beginning to communicate with us and with each other. The Internet of Things has been described as one of the fastest emerging, most transformative, and potentially disruptive technology developments. The Law of 360 recently named Internet of Things is the #1 new practice area for attorneys, and I'm very proud to have been co-chair for this Internet of Things National Symposium. This is the guy writing the story, where we had very important dialogue regarding Internet of Things issues. We arranged to have speakers over 40 leading authorities in government, academics, and private practice, and the speakers offered wonderful insight into critical issues facing all of us because of the exponential growth of the Internet of Things, including privacy and security. So there you go. That just validated every point I've ever made about the Internet of Things. They included the chief technology officer for the White House to come in and talk about these things. So I did a search then after I found that story about artificial intelligence and the White House and announcements, and lo and behold, this was a month after that Internet of Things conference. On whitehouse.gov, there's a story from May 3rd, 2016 called Preparing for the Future of Artificial Intelligence. Now, we've done quite a few days on artificial intelligence. We've seen that the military is creating now artificially intelligent hackers to hack against themselves. There will be 7. I think we'll look at that a little bit later, but I think there's 7 supercomputers that they're going to have hacking each other utilizing artificial intelligence because human hackers aren't fast enough. They say we have them utilizing artificial intelligence in military aircraft, in drones, and making decisions, facial recognition. How long is it going to be before they are doing some sort of, and we already saw that Israeli company where they can use the shape of your face and genetic traits, statistically speaking, by the shape of your nose or your eyebrows or whatever, they can actually determine whether or not you have a predisposition to violence or being a problem in the future. So it's not going to be long before we are at the mercy of these artificially intelligent creations that they are trying to make to be non-defective human 2.0s. So there's the story now that came out May 3rd, 2016 on whitehouse.gov called Preparing for the Future of Artificial Intelligence. Summary. Today we are announcing a new series of workshops and an interagency workshop to learn more about the benefits and the risks of artificial intelligence. There's a lot of excitement about artificial intelligence and how to create computers capable of intelligent behavior. And after years of steady but slow progress on making computers quote-unquote smarter at everyday tasks, a series of breakthroughs in the research community and industry have recently spurred momentum and the investment in the development of this field. Remember, this is not whitehouse.gov, guys. Today's AI is confined to narrow and specific tasks and isn't anything like the general adaptable intelligence that humans exhibit. Don't worry, Johnny. But despite this, AI's influence on the world is growing, and the rate of progress we have seen will have broad implications for fields ranging from healthcare to image and voice recognition, ding! And in healthcare, the President's Precision Medicine Initiative, ding ding, and the Cancer Moonshot, and that's all that mad science gone mad, little tips and C-tips and universal cancer vaccines, and then trial going on at Penn University. This is all part of this whole ball of nasty wax. We'll rely on AI to find patterns in medical data and ultimately to help doctors diagnose diseases and suggest treatments to improve patient care and health outcomes. Of course, it'll be economical too, Johnny. And in education, AI has the potential to help teachers customize instruction for each student's needs. And of course, so we're going to have AI teachers as well. AI plays a role in self-driving vehicles, ding, which have the potential to save thousands of lives and kill the driver, as opposed to killing the sidewalk full of people. As we just saw, to put it into public consciousness, I'm sure of it, I'm telling you, they ran over a sidewalk full of people in Nice, France. As well as unmanned aircraft systems. Yes, well, that's why we had crazy pilots as well in plane crashes. And we now already have that illustrated in DARPA's unmanned swarms. And that'll be just wonderful. And they look like a swarm of turkey vultures. Pigmine had a video a couple days ago, and it was pretty frightening. But anyway, AI to find patterns in medical data and help doctors diagnose, right, as well as unmanned aircraft systems, which may transform global transportation, get rid of pilots, logistical systems, and countless industries over the coming decades. Ding, disruptive technologies is what they're trying to tell you. And here we go, but they're calling it a nice thing, transformative technologies. However, artificial intelligence carries some risks and presents complex policy challenges along several dimensions, from jobs and economy to safety and regulation questions. So this is going to be a transformative technology that's going to carry some risks and present complex challenges for what? Well, for example, AI will create new jobs while phasing out some old ones, but don't worry, because then it just magnifies the importance of things like tech hire that are preparing our workforce with the skills to get ahead in today's economy and tomorrow's. AI systems can also behave in surprising ways. And what does that mean? And we are increasingly relying on AI to advise decisions and operate physical and virtual machinery, adding to the challenge of predicting, ding, 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 and controlling, ding, 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 how complex technologies will behave. Now, shouldn't that scare you? We rely on AI for a lot of things, but we still have a challenge to predict, number one, and to control, number two, these killing robots that our military is already experimenting with. Have you seen Atlas? Have you seen drone swarms? That's a big, big problem to me. There are tremendous opportunities and an array of considerations across the federal government in privacy, security, regulation, law, and research and development to be taken into account when effectively integrating this technology into both government and private sector activities. That is why the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy is excited to announce that it will be co-hosting 4 public workshops over the coming months. Maybe we should attend those, on topics in AI to spur public dialogue on artificial intelligence and machine learning, and to identify challenges and opportunities related to this emerging technology. These 4 workshops will be co-hosted by academic and nonprofit organizations, and 2 of them will be co-hosted by the National Economic Council. These workshops will feed into the development of the public report later this year, and we invite anyone interested to learn more about this emergent field of technology and give input about future directions and areas of challenge and opportunity. You can learn more about these at the events at the links on the website below, and each workshop will be live streamed. Well, guess what? We missed all of them. I see May 24th, June 7th, June 28th, and July 7th. So I'll have to check those out, though. I'll save this page. I'll link to this page in the notes, but maybe they are archived somewhere. That would probably be interesting. We have the legal and governance implications for AI, AI for social good, safety and control for AI. That would probably be a really good one, and the social and economic implications of AI technologies in the near term. That would probably be a really good one, too, to check out. Anyway, let's continue a little bit more. Just because I couldn't even believe that this was on the White House website and nobody really noticed, did they? The federal government is also working to leverage AI, and we saw an RT clip the other day about the chief technology officer, this guy at Dr. Ed Felton, coming out saying AI is so great and it's going to help cure all these problems with technology and our government, and it'll be so good for you people. It's very frightening. The federal government is also working to leverage AI for public good and toward a more effective government. The new National Science and Technology Council Subcommittee on Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence will meet for the first time next week, so that was in May. This group will monitor state-of-the-art advances and technology milestones in artificial intelligence and machine learning within the federal government, in the private sector, and internationally, and help coordinate federal activity in this space. Broadly, between now and the end of the administration, this group will work to increase the use of AI and machine learning to improve the delivery of government services. So we're going to have government services all provided by AI. Such efforts may include empowering federal departments and agencies to run pilot projects, evaluating new AI-driven approaches in government investment and research on how to use AI to make government services more effective. Applications in AI to areas of government that are not traditionally technology focused are especially significant, and there's tremendous potential in AI-driven improvements to programs and deliveries of services to help make everyday life better for Americans in areas related to urban systems and small cities, mental, and physical health. So we have this whole mental health rollout. Remember, the director of the National Institute of Health, Tommy Insel, former director, is now at Google working on mental health issues and physical health, precision medicine, and your electronic health records and tying you into the machine, splicing and dicing you in the database. Get your DNA sample and your smart clothing, real-time monitoring, so you can be healthy. As well as social welfare, criminal justice, AI police force coming to a town near you, as well as environment with our synthetic biology and much, much more. And I think they actually said that in the RT clip, and much more, but they do say that in the story on whitehouse.gov. We are looking forward to engaging the public about how best to harness the opportunities brought to us by artificial intelligence. Stay tuned for more information about the work we're doing on the subject as it develops over the coming months. Signed, Ed Felton, Deputy U.S. Chief Technology Officer. So what do you think of them apples? We are going to have artificial intelligence spitting out services for the benefit of the American people to make life good for you. It's just crazy.
There have been lots of news reports about how robots will replace humans in every job in the future. And now it looks like the White House is gearing up to replace humans with robots too. The White House's Deputy Chief Technology Officer Ed Felton recently wrote a post on the White House blog explaining how excited they are about working with government agencies to integrate artificial intelligence, or AI, into their operations. The blog post is called Preparing for the Future. In it, Felton writes in a positive tone about how the White House is working to leverage AI for public good. He says AI could lead to a more effective government. He positively gushes about how great AI could be in the capacity of government. Felton writes that AI could actually help make everyday life better for Americans, even though it threatens to take over their jobs and thus their very livelihoods. He says AI can help build smarter cities. He says it can lead to better options for mental and physical health, social welfare, criminal justice, research and development, and environmental issues. He ends that particular section with the open-ended, and much more, meaning the White House will use AI however it damn well pleases. In the blog post, Felton also mentions some other government applications of AI that don't sound as benevolent as social welfare. He writes that AI presents tremendous opportunities across the federal government in privacy, security, regulation, and law. And that's where things get really scary. Because now it's not just about robots replacing our jobs. Now it's about robots being our overlords, making decisions on law enforcement. It's about robots being in charge of regulating and securing us. Of course, the White House sees this as a tremendous way to save money, too, since the federal government employs somewhere around 2 million people. So the White House not only sees lots of opportunity in replacing us with robots, it also thinks they'll be a great way to control us, too. Just another scary news story about robots. Let's face it, my fellow humans, the future no longer belongs to us. Tonight, let's talk about that.
Gonna have your AI doctors, part of Obamacare. And remember, we had Obama, the first sitting president ever, ink a paper for a prestigious medical journal, even though he's not a doctor. He's a lawyer, right at the same time. We have, what was his name? The lawyer? The new lawyer? I don't remember his name. Keep it down, whoever remembers his name. What was his name? Oh, come on, I gotta find it now. Look at how short my memory is. Oh, damn it. I'm not going to waste time. The robot AI Ross. Robot lawyer with all of his annotations. Came out like just 2 months before Obama put out a paper in a science journal with all these annotations about Obamacare and how great it is. Yeah, this is a plan, guys. This is a plan to get us all sucked into the machine at all points. So here's something that I found interesting, and this is the way I had always seen the future of AI. But again, it's going to put mechanics out of a job. We've seen DARPA talking about not only an artificial immune system that they're tinkering with in the lab, and we have lots of research going on at universities, and IBM's working on it, and they got stuff at Penn University and a few other places, universal cancer vaccine, and some of the different hospitals they're playing with. Well, we also had DARPA working on the artificial immune system for computers, right, as a self-scanning, self-aware, just like a synthetic immune system, but for a PC, for a network, for a cloud, to be able to scan anomalous behavior. We've had that already in the IT space for quite a number of years. It's called intrusion detection and prevention, but they want to take that a step further, and that's kind of where now we have this NSA 21, where it's our cyber hacker teams, but the internal and the external, the ones that maintain our internal systems in the United States, make sure that vulnerabilities are taken care of, and there are hack alerts put out for any type of danger or espionage that is incoming. But then we also had the external team. There was the team that was in charge of going into foreign systems and trying to exploit holes, getting into the back surveillance, back end, exploiting holes to monitor overseas, as well as, I'm going to say some of them have been monitoring us internally as well, as per Snowden. So we have this DARPA now hacking team that's going to be adding their supercomputing power, flaunting it, as to how easy things are to exploit. DARPA hopes automation can create the perfect hacker, just what we wanted. 7 Pentagon supercomputers are getting ready to attack one another, and I believe we read the other day, this is at the Vegas conference, DEF CON. Look out, human hackers. Pentagon's research agency, DARPA, says people are too slow at finding and fixing security bugs and wants to see if smart software can overtake the task. The hackers are going to be replaced now. This is just absolutely insane. The agency released details today of a contest that will put the idea to test at the annual DEF CON hacking conference in Las Vegas next month. When was the story written? I think this was relatively new. July 13th, so just a few days ago. 7 teams from academia and industry will pit high-powered computers provided by DARPA one another, and each team's system must run a suite of software developed by DARPA for the event. Contestants win points for looking for and triggering bugs in software run by competitors while defending their own software. Mike Walker, the DARPA program manager leading the Cyber Grand Challenge project, claims the approach can make the world safer. Of course it will. The comprehension and reaction to known flaws is entirely manual today, he says, and that's, when you get a virus alert, they got to write an update. So what they want to do is make this a self-healing system. Identification, quarantine, and then, healing itself of any damage that might have been done. He says, we want to build, and this is the fear, autonomous systems, ding, 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 that can arrive at their own insights about flaws and make their own decisions about when to release a patch. Now, this is unheard of, guys. This is incorporating AI into an artificial immune system for the computer world. This is the same sorts of thinking processes that they're thinking about when working on precision medicine. They are treating biology as if it were a programmable entity now, just like the machine. This is where we are intersecting, and that is what this HR 591? Let me just get up there. HR 591, Engineering, Biology, Research, and Development Act was all about, is the intersection, that's what they said, of biology and computing and information sciences. All the mad science we've been talking about. When a malicious hacker finds a new flaw in a piece of commonly used software, they can typically exploit it for a year before it's fixed, says Walker. But we want to bring that response down to minutes or seconds, and hopefully we ignite a revolution where we eventually have a machine that can compete with top experts. Here's the thing, though. So we find out through Hacking Team last year, the year before, through a breach where Hacking Team got hacked, that Hacking Team had been doing that very thing, finding vulnerabilities, building exploits, and then selling that to law enforcement agencies around the globe to utilize against people like you and me who might have shown up somewhere because of some website we might have gone to or some conversation we were having, and we hit a keyword, ding, you just got on the red list, and you ended up on some sort of automated DARPA-esque, dark web-esque search engine like Memex, where, maybe you just knew the wrong person on social media who would come up somewhere along the way, and you ended up in a list. You ended up in a database. You ended up in some file that someone was scanning, looking at your stuff, and you were infiltrated by some flaw in some basic software that you had on your machine. We found out one of them was Apple iTunes. They had been exploiting, and another one was Flash, with Flash updates and a file that looked very similar to the original Flash file. You had it open the back door to your machine to be surveilled. Very interesting. Anyway, now they are talking about imbuing these characteristics on steroids into an automated system to be able to scan software, not in days, not in weeks, not in hours, but in minutes and seconds. What's going to stop this quote-unquote Skynet intelligence that they apparently are looking to release here with these 7 supercomputers, at least right now, in a test-ish environment? But how long is it going to be before something like, Google works very closely together with these different agencies, have all kinds of people from DARPA that have moved into Google, launch something like this on the world? Launch something like this that, what did we find out reading whitehouse.gov, learning to control? We don't know quite how to control this technology yet, but hey, don't worry about it. It won't take us over. It won't infiltrate all of our systems. It won't get into the nuclear codes. I mean, you really got to worry. We've looked at the ethics and the problem in translation between humans and silicon life, and how something that we may give it as an instruction, it might totally misinterpret our intention. So we have to be very exact in the things that we program with intelligent life that is much more intelligent than us potentially in the future. We also saw that K5 security robot in California ran over some little kid the other day, some toddler in a parking lot. And so these intelligences that we are then putting into automated robotics or software, there's a couple different ways you can deploy artificial intelligence, are programmed with Asmonovs, right? We talked about that. First law, to not do any harm. Anyway, back to this DARPA hacking competition at DEF CON. In next month's final contest, teams must sit back and watch as the software they developed competes against that of other contestants without any human intervention. The winning team will take home $2 million. This is very much like the DARPA Robotics Challenge that Atlas came from, and will be invited to compete against human hackers in the DEF CON's annual Capture the Flag contest. Walker does not expect the automated hacker to do very well against humans, so again, just like showing you video of the DARPA Grand Challenge for robotics when Atlas kept falling down and he had the doinky music. We talked about that before. Don't worry about it, Johnny. Look at how silly this is. It's not going to do anything. We're just playing around. So, of course, they don't expect that it's going to be able to win. But the software doesn't have to be able to hold its own in a matchup with an elite hacker to be useful. Anything that helps the U.S. military find flaws in its software faster would help benefit national security. So, of course, it's just going to be used against us. We're going to just check our own vulnerabilities. He played down suggestions that the technology was developed for the Cyber Grand Challenge and it could be used maliciously in the real world. No! It's for educational purposes only and just to check our own perimeter security. Not only is it unclear whether techniques developed for the contest would work on real software, but DARPA is committed to encouraging wide use of such software, says Walker. Teams are also required to release all of their code as open source, so let's release all the potentially Skynet AI to the world. And if technology is democratized, just like gene editing and DIY gene editing kit, then we don't believe that nefarious misuse will be feasible. No, because the bugs that will be found will already have been patched, he said. I don't know about that. That's pretty frightening. Pretty frightening. So, Continuing on AI, we've read about those little mini brain balls that they were creating with stem cells to mimic human brains. We read about them taking DNA and making electronics out of neurons, DNA that they've made neurons out of. They can 3D print things and mimic the human brain. Listen to this. One of the things that they had talked about with those little mini brain balls, those little mini human brains that they could connect together and network and do things with, was the problem that they had was that there were no sensory inputs. And they already have a way to add a VPU, that's the vision processing unit, where they can give robotics a sense of vision. But now researchers are looking to teach robots to feel and react to pain. Now, let's think about this one for a minute. This is from May 24th, 2016, out of the IEEE Spec.org. One of the most useful things about robots is that they don't feel pain. Because of this, we have no problem putting them to work in dangerous environments or having them perform tasks that range between slightly unpleasant and definitely fatal to a human. And yet, a pair of German researchers believes that in some cases, feeling and reacting to pain might be a good capability for a robot to have. The researchers from Leibniz University in Hanover are developing an artificial robot nervous system to teach robots how to feel pain and quickly respond in order to avoid potential damage to their motors, gears, and electronics. They are describing the project at the IEEE International Conference on Robotics and Automation in Stockholm, Sweden, and they were there to ask, what in the name of Isaac Asimov are they thinking when they came up with this concept? Why is it a good idea for robots to feel pain? Well, the same reason why it's a good idea for humans to feel pain, says Johannes Kielholm, one of the researchers. Pain is a system that protects us, and when we evade from the source of pain, it helps us not to get hurt. Humans that don't have the ability to feel pain get injured far more often because their bodies don't instinctively react to things that hurt them. And I do kind of see his point there, and gives me a little bit of pleasure to know that if they felt pain when the robot armies are coming, we'll be able to at least inflict some. Kian, who worked on the project with Professor Sami Handlinen, one of the world's foremost experts in physical human-robot interaction and safety, argues that by protecting robots from damage, their systems will be protecting humans as well. That is because a growing number of robots will be operating in close proximity to human workers, and undetected damage in robotic equipment can lead to accidents. They reason that if our biological mechanisms to sense and respond to pain were so effective, then why not devise a bio-inspired ding-ding robot controller that mimics those mechanisms? Such a controller would reflexively react to protect the robot from potentially damaging interactions. The idea of reflex controller for a robot isn't a new one. Stanford University and the University of Rome developed 1/2 decade ago a robotic arm that helped avoid collisions with people. The controller does avoid collision avoidance, and it's very concerned with not running into a human, but not all concerned with its own safety, which is a byproduct. So indeed, an artificial robot nervous system designed to feel pain and react to it is completely different and based on how humans deal with painful tactile sensations. So what do you think of that? Robots feeling pain. It's kind of a horrifying thought. It's the next step to them mimicking humans again to try to replace us. I mean, at some point, what use is it going to be to have our fragile condition? We got a couple more minutes here. I think we're going to deal with this story last but not least. Oops, hold on, I got an ad. No, thank you. Here we go. This is out of Vocative. Finally, a robot assistant as affordable as it is adorable. May 30th, 2016, he almost looks like a Jibo, just cuter. Maybe this is the next generation. This cute little robot is the roommate you always wanted. Independent, smart, and he won't drink your beer yet. Developed by Asus, and Asus was a motherboard manufacturer back in my day, and they make machines now that are pretty kick-ass. Developed by Asus, Zenbo is his name, not Jibo, Zenbo is the latest in a line of robot home helpers, and unlike its pricier peers, Zenbo costs a much more affordable $5.99. Remember I told you the sub $1,000 PC broke it all in the session. They'd have to find the right price point for the personal digital cute assistant at home to kick it off. $5.99 might be there. That might be a good starting point. Zenbo is designed to roam around a room on its own and take directions by voice command. Now guys, Jibo didn't move, you had to carry Jibo, but this roams around the room on its own and takes directions by voice command. So the microphone is always open. And so is the camera for its visual processing unit to move around the room. Its face acts like a touchpad interface, allowing you to place video calls, shop online, or stream video content. And for kids, of course, for kids, the robot is able to dance to music and read stories to little Johnny for bedtime from its built-in library. For older adults, Zenbo can send emergency messages to family members if someone falls down and can't get up. Zenbo also offers spoken reminders about appointments and calendar events. Now only if you could learn to love. So there you go, Zenbo. Zenbo by Asus. And that's pretty funny. Hi,
I am Zenbo.
This is the cutest little roommate you ever wanted.
Bob, you have one to-do item. Take blood pressure medication. Hey, Zenbo.
Hey, Zenbo.
Please let me know if there is anything else I can do for you. Man turned out to be the big bad wolf instead.
I'm the big bad wolf.
Claire, I have a reminder for you. Don't forget the family photo shoot at 5 o'clock.
We love you, Zenbo! Alright guys, I think that's about it. Make sure you stick around. It is Monday. There's all kinds of live radio today. We got live up next, Miss Lonnie Clark. And then tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Mr. Brandon Turville, brand new show, 11 p.m. Eastern. The Anti-Media Radio with Nick and DB and all the best from the weekend in between. Alright guys, have an awesome Monday, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Everybody take care.
Science is being used as a means of social control. That means control of you. Both science and religion have been used throughout history as mechanisms of social control. The elite classes put forth the idea that they know something the common classes do not know, and therefore the common classes must heed the commands of the elites. The elites claim that they have heard God speak, or they have discovered some new mysterious science, and the common masses must, for their own survival and protection, follow the direction of the wise and learned elites. Science, when applied politically, is just another faith. It is a faith controlled by central authorities who select portions of science to be applied socially with terms such as climate change. Anything referred to as science is supposed to be taken as true or real and not to be questioned. Of course, true science is the practice of unwavering skepticism and inquiry, constant challenge and reevaluation. Science, as a political tool, is no longer science. It is just behavioral control, power over others. When science is used politically, it is not research, inquiry, exploration, or progress, as science is supposed to be. In political application, science is simply dogma and tyranny. Real science is always evolving, always open to question, and should never be used as a device for social control. The only thing that justifies control of humans is when those humans grant informed consent to be controlled, not as a voting mass, but one by one, individually, with power of revocation of that grant. Science is incidental to such political enterprise. You might say that real science is supposed to be the discovery of physical reality. In politics, science is turned into something very different. Science is redefined to mean group truth, imposed reality, inflexible absolutist doctrine, something you must agree with and behave accordingly or suffer reprisal at the hands of the state. There will never be any such thing as group truth. A group is nothing but a bunch of individuals with individual viewpoints. Individually, we believe whatever we want, whenever we want. If I cheer or boo along with the crowd, that is a temporary and limited behavioral choice, not the composite of my existence. Our unique individuality never goes away. Of course, we can play different roles. The important question is not what roles we play, but who is choosing our roles for us. Do we have a right, for instance, to believe it is good luck to wear green shoelaces? Of course we do. We have that right even if science says we're wrong. Or if the politician says there is no evidence that green shoelaces are good luck. Or if the media tells us that scientifically only red shoelaces are good luck. It's not a question of science. It's a question of who tells you what shoelaces to wear and whether they use force when they tell you. It's extremely difficult to exploit, enslave, tax, and control people who are determined to control their own lives, who put a value on self-determination. Everyone has at least some desire to control their own lives. The high art of elitism is to convert that desire into conformity with the collective. Elites, those people who run the human farm, are always looking for mechanisms of control. They know that when we are told that something is based on science, we tend to accept it. It is therefore a simple matter to select or concoct science that suits their agendas and tell us we have no choice but to worship that science and to serve the prescribed outcome. Those who bow to the science of God will be rewarded. Those who resist will be ridiculed and shamed.